but
it's okay. We're only going to be here for probably 30 minutes or so. It was kind of last minute thing. I told Bret, I said, can we get on? And he's like, yeah, I'm heading back from the beach. So,
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're here with Bret from Mindsaw and Chase Rayner from Chase Rayner SEO. We're just going to be chatting it up. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Make sure to give StreamYard permission to post on Facebook. But yeah, go ahead, Bret, and talk to us about your story and everything.
All right. So I was just first of all, William, I appreciate you having me on. It's an honor for you to be on your show. I follow a couple of the projects that you work on, and lately I've become a fan of your work. I didn't know. I don't know everybody in the SEO industry, so please don't take any offense that I didn't know, what was going on. But your name was dropped, and I started doing a little research. And my girlfriend follows a course that you instruct, that you give, and she says, yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a good dude. So when you reached out to me, said I had to say yes. And she goes, you're doing the show tonight at 8:30, usually in bed. So I appreciate, I appreciate
I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. And Chase, man, Chase is like I said, since, past 10 years has been my hero in SEO. Literally has been my hero in SEO. Like I said, I remember when he was a young kid doing a show with Josh. And, for Chase, for you to say anything nice about me, I was just about to tell a story. In 1985, I was going to be a professional bodybuilder. I was trying to be a professional bodybuilder, there is. And I went to work out in Ferrigno's in Brooklyn, McDonald Avenue between M and N. And Lou Ferrigno's dad came up to me and says, you remind me of Louis when he was a little boy. So it was the same feeling by Chase, commenting on my videos. It's like, this is a god of SEO, of business. And for him to say something nice about me really meant a lot to me. So I really appreciate you, Chase.
Yeah, man, I started noticing you when I saw you interview Chris Palmer. And I was like, dude, this is a really good interview, because you were talking to Chris and you're like, well, what's really going on? Like, how's your life? And you started kind of getting real with him. And it wasn't even just about SEO. I'm like, oh, Bret's a cool guy, because I didn't realize that.
I was a guy?
Well, no, I mean, I could tell from your gains. Like, that was the first thing I noticed. I could probably tell the bodybuilding thing. But the second thing I noticed is, like, you weren't just about it for the SEO. You were actually about, being around cool people. And I was like, oh, this is a cool guy. So that's when I started checking you out on YouTube and kind of sending you comments and stuff, being like, keep it up.
Yeah.
And I love your introduction, dude. I think it's awesome. I think it's unique. I think it's like, it's something that I wish I don't know, maybe I always wanted like a cool intro that was like unique to me. And the best I could come up with is like, what's up, SEO pros? I didn't really feel like that was that unique. So
I really appreciate that, Chase. That's really, really nice of you to say that. So I'm a guitar player. Not very good, but I'm a guitar player. And there's this fella, his name is Marty Schwartz. Anybody who's even touched a guitar knows Marty Schwartz. And it's just a play on what he does. So he goes, hey, everybody, today we're going to learn Smoke on the Water. So it took me 5 years to make a video. Like I said, I was a troll, just watching other people's videos and making comments, for many years. And I said, okay, listen, if I don't have a personality, I have to pick somebody who I admire. And it was Marty Schwartz. I liked his intro. And little by little, hey turned into, hey, what's going on, guys? Today's video. But I'm going to tell you something. Those intros take me sometimes an hour. My girlfriend has to rub my back and I'm serious. Like, she has to wind me up to get me going. Like, listen, I'm not always like, hey, what's going on, guys? Sometimes I'm not in a good mood,
Imagine that.
Yeah. I'm not always that guy. I'm not always that guy, but I appreciate you saying that, Chase. I really do. It really, really, really means a lot to me. Thank you, sir. He's at a loss for words.
No, I think you said it great.
Thank you.
You should just keep up the great work, man.
Thank you. I certainly will. And I like a lot of the new stuff that you're putting out with crypto and TikTok and, really good stuff, Chase.
I don't want to take away from your interview, though, because I actually got to go hang out with my girlfriend and her son. But I'm glad that I got to meet you, and I hope you guys have a good interview.
Great. Right. Thank you so much, Chase. Be good, buddy.
Yeah, it's like the same thing for the longest time. If people ask me, I even told Chris Palmer when I interviewed him, it was more like, hey, we're getting to know each other. Because I followed like Craig Palmer, Craig Campbell, Chris Palmer, and then Chase. And there's the only three I really followed.
Right.
And I had respect for in the SEO community, mainly because they test things. There's a couple more that I've actually gotten to know, as of late, actually this past year. And then I tried contacting Chase. I was like you, and nothing. And I had people literally say, you and Chase need to do it. And I'm like, I don't think Chase wants nothing to do with me, bro, because I post in his group and my posts don't get put out. And I think maybe he's, he just, and I've had people go, I've had some bad stuff, but I've had people go, you still Chase's stuff. And like, if you ask Chase is like, I give my shit away for free, bro. What are you talking about?
No, he's an easy dude, man. He's a good, nice
dude. And then
dude.
out of 2 weeks ago, he literally on Facebook, I get this call and I'm like, what, Chase? And I'm like, are you sure? And so let me answer. And I'm like, yeah, it's definitely Chase. And then we started working together more and more. So when he asked me, I was like, I'm honored that you even asked me, brother.
He's a pioneer in this, man. You say what you want about, people say things about people, but man, he's a pioneer. He's one of the first people on YouTube talking about SEO.
That's one of the biggest reasons why, like, I do my style of quote unquote audits live like that is because of learning from him and seeing him do it. Because and that's what I used to do in the group, which really made it grow. Is I'd say I drop a post that just say, hey, who wants an SEO audit today?
Right.
And they'd say, 50 people, me, whatever. And I'd drop your link, and I'd get them all. And then I literally do a walkthrough audit for every one of them and drop a Loom video for every one of them. Now I go, someone wants an audit. I say it's $500 if you want me to actually do it.
Right.
Now, if you don't want me to you don't want to pay for it, I'll still do it, but we're going to go live while I'm doing it because I'm going to create content off of it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And that's pretty cool either way.
Yeah.
But I like doing the live audits because then people get to see, same reason why I like, we're talking about freestyle.
Yeah.
It's because people get to see how do you think? Like someone asks a question and then they get to see what's in Bret's mind. How does Bret think whenever he sees an SEO problem or GMB issue, that sort of thing.
Right.
So, but just
what do you think was the biggest mistake in business in SEO? Well, you know what? Just leave it alone. In business, what do you think your biggest mistake was?
My biggest mistake, not starting my group soon enough. My biggest mistake was growing someone else's audience instead of my own.
Right. Why do you think that was? What do you think it was a confidence issue?
I honestly just wanted to help people. I honestly actually think people are good people.
Yes.
I honestly think people are good natured. I don't think people are trying to screw you over.
I agree.
But then I went through a time where it's like I grew it from 4,000 to 14,000. And then let's say 10 people say, oh, we don't like Bill, or Bill's getting too much attention, or Bill this or Bill that.
Right.
And then what it really boiled down to is the admins would post something, they get 5 comments. I post something, I get 50. And I got removed. And then I was like, okay, whatever. And I was like, let me start my own group.
Right.
I should have been started my own group. Done all that stuff.
Right.
And if I had done that, just based on the calculations of what I'm at now, is like I would be at 13,000, 14,000 people in my group.
It's okay. You're still a young man.
And
you got plenty of time.
But it's cool. I mean, it's a lesson learned. And then, that, if you will. And then my other biggest mistake, personally, is I tell my wife, everybody sees everything. I'm married way up. Right. But the thing is, I met my wife probably 6 years ago, and then went through a time in which I didn't have money. I didn't have stuff, and I didn't have the ability to fly over here, get the visa process, because you need to, let's say, 10 grand to do everything that you're going to have to do.
Right.
And wound up cutting it off with her and stopped talking to her and everything. And then that went on for 2 years. And then I finally, I went through a very depressed time where I was very suicidal. I went through a lot of stuff where I just was like, God hates me. I mean, really bad times. Because
what brought that on?
I went through a really bad divorce, and I had 2 children, was married for 13 years.
Wow.
And it's like I'm married. I was old school, to death do us part.
Right. Yeah.
No matter what, I work it out. I wasn't believe it. I'm a 300-pound man, but I was in an abusive relationship with a 5 foot, 5 foot little, if you will, Jewish girl, redheaded, and it's kind of hard to believe because I'm a big dude,
right?
But I don't hit, and I'm not like that. But I stayed in that relationship for a very long time and went through that,
right?
And then went through my depression, and I actually started playing semi-professional poker, and I did that to get my anger out. I was in a place where that helped me deal with my addiction, helped me deal with my pain. Because I would go in there and it helped. I went from a very quiet person to a very confrontational person. Because you would say something at the poker table to me, and I was like, I wouldn't let things slide. I would wind up being confrontational back. I could get under people's skin. I like
somebody told me that. Somebody told me today that's how I am.
I would do it to get under people's skin and play, because it's a very psychological game. It's not a game of, in my opinion, it's not a game of luck. There are people that play it that way, but there are also statistics and mathematics and psychology involved. And so I went through that period of time, and then I wound up meeting my wife now, married her. But then
she's Philippine.
Yep, Philippine. And I wound up, when I came back to her, I said, after I went through my stuff and went through my depression and finally got over it, I messaged her. I was like, can we talk? Because I just wanted to talk. And then she said yes. And then I remember seeing her on the video, and she's working in Saudi for the sheikh at the sultan or sheikh. I mean, like big kahuna dude. And she said yes. I called her up, seen her on video, and she just started pouring tears down.
Wow.
And I was like, she's like, this whole time she'd learned, for instance, she would date somebody, and they would get her roses, and she would remember when I got her roses. They would say something nice, and she still remember me. And so she broke it off every time. She could never do it. And then our daughter, the whole time, or her daughter, Rowena, what happened was she always knew me as father since she was 3 years old. And so even when I left, her mother told her, she said, your dad's just working. So she never knew I quote unquote left. And when that was my other, if you will, regret, is not marrying her sooner. I met her when I was 36 and she was 26. And it was interesting. I mean, but then, at that time I had the money. I get the plane ticket. I bring her back from Saudi to the Philippines. And once she's in the Philippines, I come over to see her. She even told me, she said, listen, come over this time. It's the last chance. So I come over here, and I fell in love with the country and the people. And I was over here twice before I decided to move over here. So, but if you're considering, which brings me to what you're talking about moving over here eventually, right?
Eventually. Well, what I'd like to do is come by and see it. So like I follow all the vloggers on, and if you have to interrupt me because I don't look at the comments, if somebody asks a question, their questions are more important than my, talking about this, please feel free, just interrupt me. I follow a lot of vloggers, I'm sure like you did, before coming there to find out about the Philippines, like Geo in the Philippines and all new tricks.
There's the Hungry Syrian. He's really good. And then Kulas is becoming Filipino. He's the biggest one here.
Oh, really? Okay, I don't know him. How about Harold Balder? Do you know him? Harold Balder. Oh, he's great, man. He's great. So anyway, I've been turned on to these videos, and I even know where I'm going to check out. Mocktown, Newtown.
Okay.
That's in Cebu, right?
Yep, in Cebu. Most people wind up going. I'm actually in Pagadan, which is in a province.
Right.
And it's
you got a province girl.
And that's much cheaper to live in the province and everything else. It's like Cebu. I mean,
I don't want to hear roosters.
You know, we hear roosters every day.
Yeah. I don't want to hear roosters.
I told Zay, keep it up. I'm gonna have Manuk. Cebu's really good. I've actually been to Palawan. I've been to Cebu. They're beautiful places. It's just more expensive to live there. The other thing I don't like traffic. I'm in the country, so that should tell.
Right. See, I'm New York City. I'm just Florida here for 3 years. I've been in New York City my whole life. So traffic.
You'll be bored in Cebu if you're from New York.
Yeah. Well,
it's no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. No big deal for me. But I was looking at some rents there. Like I could get an apartment on Airbnb for $250, $300 for the month.
Yep.
For the month.
You can buy a furnished condo in Manila, which is the most expensive place.
Trump Towers, $500,000
for like $500 a month renting it.
I know, yeah.
So
do you know Trump Towers is only $500,000. You can live in Trump Towers in Manila.
Yeah, I've considered buying a property in Manila. Right now, we're looking at another property here in Pagadan because I'm actually looking to build an office. I was like, I can either rent an office or buy a house and turn it into an office. And then on top of it, have real estate that I actually own versus, or not that I own, but that my wife owns, because you can't own property.
51% for the person who lives there.
You can own a condo though. You can own the condo full out.
It's something about the land. You can't own the land.
You can't own the land. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is in regards to, because I know people are here for GMB and that type of information. So let's give them a little of that. What do you think is the biggest thing that moves the needle? Like what if you were on a desert island and I said, okay, well, look, you got this account, you got to rank it, but you could only use 3 things. What would you use?
The ones that most people don't do or don't like to hear is the title of the business, which I know for fact ranks them. You can get them ranked with that. The other one is GMB.
You mean city, geo, and
the keyword. If I have my choice, when I set them up with that. Even if they're old, I can still manipulate it enough to change it little by little and tweak it. Yeah. The other one is most people don't do, which people like to argue with sometimes, is post 5 days a week. If you're not posting 5 days a week, you're leaving money on the table. I've seen people that are in my class, they literally only do my location pages on the website and my GMB posts, 5 days a week. The way I say set up a GMB post, and their grids I could show you repetitively have went from orange or red to green. Just from those 3 things, just from that, and then doing one student didn't even change the title or nothing, just started doing the GMB post the way I said to do them. And then it went from red or orange to green.
So I put out a video in regards to the way that I do it. Do you put the NAP on the picture, the keyword on the picture, the logo on the picture? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's the way I do it too. Wait, you ain't got it from me.
No. And the other one we do too, whenever, because Google hates this, they actually just put out a memorandum or whatever, probably about a month ago, say no more links in the actual copy of the website of the
GMB.
You have the GMB post when you're actually putting in copy, not to put URL links inside of it. I still get away with that. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes they'll reject them, but depending on the niche. But overall, I tell them as long as we can still do it, we still do it.
Right.
And then also we'll do the other thing I do in my GMB post is say, see our previous post here, and I link back to the previous post.
Oh, I like that.
And that one will really, believe it or not, we've had snippets from our previous post pop up in a map where it says, see previous post here.
I like that.
I don't know. Google's pulling that information, but we've had that happen. I mean, but I tell people all the time, for instance, because a lot of people will come to us for the advanced schema, and I'm like, fix your on-page SEO first.
Right.
And then once they do that, then, hey, do location or geo pages.
Right.
And then after that, I go into, okay, citations, and I get into making sure that's all good. And then once the citations are done, then we'll do, some advanced G-stack, not just your normal G-stack that everybody says doesn't work.
Right. I was just going to say it doesn't work, but you obviously have a method to make it work.
Yeah, an advanced G-stack, or like a normal G-stack, let's say we'll concentrate on, let's say, 10 keywords or whatever. An OMG or RYS, heavy hitter club, with Brenner and them will have 700 plus keywords in it and have a bunch of other stuff. And we do a lot of that as well. And then the advanced schema that we also, me and Rob Beal talked about, and we've been doing that for a while. And that alone, I've had people, and me and Chris Palmer talked about this one, is we take an advanced schema, put it on a website that's never had any rankings, not even being able to get any keywords to rank it, put that schema on there, and they jump up 15 keywords out of nowhere.
Wow.
So there are certain things but we have a whole process. It's like I'm into CTR, but I tell people I'm like, do all these baby steps first before I ever bring out the bazooka.
Right. Sometimes, a lot of times the baby steps work. I have a different method for ranking people. There's more than one way to, what is it? What's that saying? More one way to skin a cat. Right.
So
skin a cat. There's other ways.
How do you go about it?
Well, I go about it a little bit different. First of all, I believe that 80% of ranking in Google Maps is all about the content that you have on your website.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That's really like you could, and that's the reason why I stopped really following a lot of people, because I wound up doing a lot of busy work. For example, like you just said, Google Stacks. Now you have a different method of doing it. I respect if you say it works, for me, right? But watching a 3-hour video on doing a Google Stack and then informing my staff, teaching my staff how to do it, and then putting them on for 3 months, only to realize that it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I just focus on the things, for me at least, that work. And the things that work for me are definitely content, definitely citations. And I stayed away from citations for a long time. I stayed away from citations. And then, some good backlinks, reviews. I like the whole thing about driving directions. I think we're both, I started using a program that you speak about a little bit. I don't know if you speak about it here on this group.
Yeah, we will. There's one that you might like. I'll tell you, if you haven't said it, your girlfriend probably knows about it. Everybody knows what bounce rate is. Bounce rate is, and everybody knows what CTR manipulation. I'm trying to manipulate click-through rate to get high rankings.
Right.
But bounce through rate is where, and where someone goes on the site, they leave it, go to your competition. Well, there is a way to manipulate, if you will, driving directions.
Right. I saw that on your video. I like that. I like
powerful.
that. Yeah.
I actually got that, not for me. That is one Bret talked about that in our show as well. And he's really cool. I got a couple of people coming in here and questions. I'll drop them in there. It's just Yo, Blake Mitchell, yo back. Graham, George, good to see you guys mixing it up. Yes, sir.
It's what we do.
Let's see here. But another thing, one of the big, if you really wanted to, how I quote unquote look at a GMB and see how to rank something, I go, okay, for instance, if it's a plumber in Orlando, I go, who's the number one plumber in Orlando? And let's look at what they're doing. Which you've used GMB Crush, you've actually used Plepper, and then I use both of those, and I go, okay, I evaluate all that first, and then I just reverse engineer it, and then I also do all that on the website. For me, another thing I tell people is like your website or your GMB should mirror each other.
Correct.
Your GMB post should mirror your pages. Your product should mirror your pages. Your service should mirror your pages. All that stuff. So it's a very similar process. It's just. You know, have you watched? Let's go this one. Have you watched Harold Balder and Bald and Bankrupt?
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I just watch a lot of his adventures where he goes out and, you know, and he goes to the Philippines, he goes to Thailand, Vietnam, and I'm very interested in that.
The one I like that I guess mainly because I have more attachment to this sort of thing is his name is Hungry Syrian.
Oh, I got to check him out.
He's come over here, and what he'll do is he'll go out at least, you know, once a week or whatever, and he'll literally buy everything in a sorry store.
Yeah.
And he'll go feed people. And
that's what Harold Balder does. So now Harold Balder, okay, now this makes sense. Harold Balder says that people are copying him, and he was the first one to do that. He didn't name any names.
Yeah.
But that's what he does.
We are just now, and this is the other thing that I've been blessed to be able to do, is I'm actually starting a, if you will, like a soup kitchen / Salvation Army, where we're giving okai away or used clothing, because we sell okai, and then we take some of that, put it there, and then once a week we go over there and buy groceries and, if you will, you know, fish and vegetables and stuff, and tell everybody get to fill up 2 bags and give it away, because that's what I told her. Say, if you didn't have money and you weren't able to do it, now you have money and you're still not doing it.
Right.
Why should you have money? You're no good. Correct. You need to leave the world a better place. If you don't leave the world a better place, you're just taking up space. So,
William, you're a good man. I know I said a lot of nice things about Chase, but I think I'm gonna transfer him over to you. I think I like you better. Oh, you're a good guy. You're a good guy. I like that, Will. I like that. And I like the group. I like the group that you have, the 2 other fellows that I see you with all the time. It's very, you know,
yeah, Bret, a lot of good things. Bret and there's a bunch of them that are just like, you know.
The fellow from the Bronx. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Is he from the Bronx or he's from Manhattan?
Mike
Merlino?
He's actually from the Bronx.
Yeah,
Merlino is awesome. Merlino, though, he's I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna be smoking while I'm on it. I don't care, brother. I don't care.
Yeah.
Is there any tips to rank a service or SAW business area over, you know, regular business with addresses when you are unable to use the address in citations? Thanks. Great channel.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I don't like, I'll do SAW area businesses, but I prefer actually having a street address, for obvious proximity reasons and stuff like that. But
I agree. But if you don't tell Google where you're located, how can you show up in the 3-pack for where you're located?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It makes it much more difficult, and that's why I'd rather use the address if I have to. Let's see here.
And especially since, you know, you can get an office or desk space somewhere. You know, just on that, what's been your experience about getting GMBs and that whole thing?
I have no problem with getting GMBs because I use a method to get them. It's a backdoor method, but I can get as many of them as I need, honestly. I just don't have people ask me to sell them. I won't sell it. Mainly because I use it for my own purposes. So, and it's, you know, on top of it, you tell somebody, and the next thing you got 100 people out there doing the same method, and backdoor goes away.
I understand. I understand.
Let's see here. I love Bret Moleta.
That's my girlfriend.
So did you marry a Filipino or no?
No.
Okay. I'm just curious because I know you want to come to the Philippines.
Yeah. No, I'm coming down. I'm leaving my penis in the United States.
Whenever you come here, I'd love to meet up.
Yeah, I'm going to come check you out. We're both going to come. Me and Jazz are going to come down, and we're going to check you out for sure.
the Viper. Baby. Yeah.
Right. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, it's Viper. It's Viper Hydra. We talk about it all the time, so it's not
okay. Yeah, it's some good stuff, man. I started taking a look at it. It's really good stuff, man. I was against it for a while. She tried to bring it my way. I said, I don't want to know. I call them all Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruities. I said, I've done them from SE Nuke to 1,000 of them. I don't want to know, but this is something completely different.
I mentioned it because I actually added 5 new chapters in my ebook, and one of which is on CTR manipulation and the various forms of it. It's just very short. I go over different, the different stuff you can set up. Right. But the thing is, like, for instance, I just bought, there's only like 3 slots. I bought the Skynet of, if you will, Viper Hydras where I can run 400 campaigns at one time.
Wow.
So I can take on 400 clients and have 400 campaigns going at one time, wherein someone that's running some of these other networks, it's going to be a lot of work to set it up, and you're never going to hit 400 campaigns ever.
Wow.
You know,
Good stuff.
not that I've seen at least, but
yeah. Good stuff.
Dan Navarro, can I use one website for 3 GMB locations? You want to take that one, Bret?
Well, one website for 3 GMB locations. I haven't run across that. I haven't run across that issue.
The way we normally do it is you'll have one if you think of it as a corporate office, right? And then we'll take the other 2, and instead of attaching it to different websites or whatever,
use the same one.
We'll create location pages and then attach it to the location page. That's
right. All. So you could kind of think of it like a Starbucks.
Correct.
Main office in Seattle, and
what did Bret mention, not Brent, about keyword and logo, image, etc., ranking in GMB?
Yeah. So Dan, what I mentioned there is that when people post in the GMB, what they're basically doing is just posting a picture. So, for example, if they're posting a plumber, they just post somebody under a sink. And what I'm saying is that you should put the keyword on the top of the picture. On the bottom right, you should put the logo. And on the left side, you should put the name, address, and phone number. I learned that from Rattel SEO. That's Darren Marion over at Rattel. You should have him on. Darren over at Rattel SEO. Good guy. Okay. Yeah, good guy.
There's another thing you might not have mentioned. I know you know it, but you can actually take an image, drop it into Google's Vision AI, and it will tell you what keywords it's picking up in this image. So you could do that in some images,
I knew about that. There's so many things that I knew and forgot. I'm 55.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How old are you, Bill?
I'm turning 44 June 2nd. So
all right, 45. So happy pre-birthday. But 45 and 55, things start to like this fella asked the question, a GMB with 3 locations. I was like, well, it's just that's all it is. They're like, what's the big deal? Like I just
I mean, we do that too. It's like you put the logo, the phone number, the app information, the keyword. Specifically, what I do is the logo and the keyword, and then use the keyword at the beginning of the, if you will, the content as well.
Correct. I use that first.
It's interesting. You used to be going for professional bodybuilding too. I actually used to do powerlifting and I believe it or not, I was a personal trainer for the longest time.
Well, I saw your picture when you were in the Marines.
No.
I
was powerlifting.
What was that picture? What was that picture? I saw a video. You had a picture of you. Was that you? You were in a, maybe I'm making a mistake. Maybe it was somebody you were interviewing. They appeared to be in a military outfit.
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
Not that off the top of my head. I mean, my family over here is all in government or military. So
I see. Okay. So you were saying you did powerlifting as well?
Yeah, we did that for the longest time, and I used to follow them. I mean, that's actually one of the first clients I got was name of a company was Elite Fitness. It's the personal training company, and I got to rub shoulders with some of the bodybuilders, and especially been in Jacksonville, Florida, especially Gold's Gym, all that, because I used to work out at Gold's Gym and World Gym. Gym, definitely. But
I worked at World Gym. My story is kind of interesting, and I could kind of sum it up in 10 words or less. But I started off in the New York City Department of Correction. I worked on Rikers Island for 20 years, and after about 6 months, I was like, I have to do something else. I have to make more money without doing overtime. So I rented a laptop from the Wiz. Do you remember Nobody Beats the Wiz? I don't know if you had them in Florida.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So in New York, that was a big store. Nobody Beats. It was like Best Buy. And I went door to door. Would you plug into their AOL? Boo, boo, boo. You got mail. And,
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that so much.
I was like, you want to buy a website? And like, right. They're like, what does your website look like? Listen, stop cooking for a second. Just give me your phone. And sometimes I would be able to connect.
That's like the first website. Remember, you used to get AOL discs. They ain't come with a free website. That's the first freaking website I ever built was on the AOL.
Oh man,
back in the day, bro.
So then I opened the first web store. Actually, one of the first web stores in New York. Where you could actually walk in and look like a travel agency. I had a bunch of people sitting there, and then I had to close the store because people thought that all the money that was coming in was theirs. That's another story. So I had to close it, and then I had to learn to work virtually. So I have most of my people live in the Philippines. They live in Davao.
Yep.
I don't know how far that is.
Actually have 4 people live in Davao. The rest of them actually work with me downstairs. So our house, like I was telling you before, we came here was like 2,000 square foot. Now our house is 6,000 square foot.
Wow.
Our pool will be done. I'm going to take pictures once it's done. But 30 meters by 20 meters, and they'll be done this week. I told them, boys, we get to go swimming this week.
Like that.
They love it because basically where they work at's pretty much a resort away from everybody without having to go to a resort.
I love it. That's great, Will. That's great that you take care of, the people from the city and stuff like that. I have a lot of respect for that, man. That's really out of 34 of them, almost probably 6 or 7 of them I trained and knew nothing. I mean, nothing about SEO, nothing about web design. You know what? Sometimes a clean slate is good.
And now you take them, and I could put them up against most people that think they know SEO.
Yeah,
and they'd be like, no. let's show you how to rank them.
Right.
They get excited. They'll send me screenshots and say, hey, boss, look at this. And you show the rankings going up, and they're happy about it. And we give them bonuses. And I mean, a lot of people are like, well, you get cheap labor. I'm like, nah. I said, I might get cheap labor, but for instance, all my guys are IT background or engineers.
Right.
You're
not getting, look, are they a bargain compared to? Yes, without a doubt. And you're not paying Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and vacation days and whatever, however you have it set up. However, on the other hand, you're not getting them for 2 cents an hour.
Yeah.
So I have to stop clients sometimes. Well, your team is in the Philippines. And, well, let me stop you right there. I pay them a fair wage.
Yeah.
You're not going to keep good people.
And we have like the base, and then we have the people that are actually upper, then they make almost $1,000 a month. Yeah. And they're like $1,000 a month over here. You live like a damn king.
You sure do.
In fact, where I'm at.
In fact, school teachers make $300 a month. Yeah. Nurses make $500 a month.
And that's why I try to put it in perspective with people. I say, for instance, a doctor makes about $1,300 a month. I said, so my top guy makes almost as much as a heart doctor, a cardiologist.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. And an engineer, the only way an engineer makes any money over here is if you have, let's say, your own business and you got 4 or 5 projects going on at one time.
Right.
If you don't and you have one project going on one time, my boys make more than you. But then on top of that, I'm say, for instance, I said, when we go to a resort, we take our team. When I go to the beach, I take my team. Nice. When I go and buy stuff, when I went to Zamboanga, I need to buy some stuff for my boys, and I bring it back, and they're excited. And then every client, we sign up new clients. Let's say we sign up 10 new clients. That's bonuses. I give up bonuses all the time, and they're like, you spoil your team. I'm like, of course I spoil my team. They're amazing.
Yeah. So do you have a problem? Not a problem, but do you feel uncomfortable? I had to stop my guys from doing that, calling you boss.
I tell them they don't need to. But the thing is, they'll say, yes, boss. Yes, boss.
Right.
And then the other one, I don't mind, but I say the same thing back to them is, and some of my clients joke with it, say, Sir William. Yeah. And the one guy says, how do I get knighted like you, Sir William? And I'm like, no, it's just over in the Philippines. Everybody says, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And I said, I'm from deep south. So for me, I like that. I don't like it when people are like disrespectful. And then over here, another thing you'll see as well, if you're in Philippine family, is the honor. Like the oldest, when my mom gets home, I'll go to her. I take her hand, put it on my head, and she goes, I bless you. But they do, they do that. You go up to all your elders and do that. There's a lot of different cultural things that, I like, I mean, to me, it's like when they have a birthday, they have any event, it's like Thanksgiving dinner. You got like 20 different damn types of food, and they're all, it's more family related than anything.
And you know what? Unfortunately, I'll never talk bad about this country, but and then there's no buts. And this country, in the United States, we've, if you call it progressed, I mean, we've moved away from that.
You've moved away from the roots, and that's, I used to love that, and now it's like you find someone rarely
who is feminine. You find a lot of people that are feminists, which is it's not a problem, but you're not gonna have that family tradition. I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna hear it in 5 minutes if I'm not in the bedroom, and we better answer this question about Twitter moments.
Are you into Twitter moments and backlinking method? Yes, I actually have it. There's a class on one of my channels about Twitter moments, and I do go over that as well. Okay. And I can tell you that Michael is coming up with a bunch of stuff that's going to rock the, if you will, the GMB world in regards to rankings and geogrids and a bunch of stuff. If you're not, I mean, honestly, if you know them and you're not in, you're going to lose out big time because
no, we're in, and I know Michael for about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, I literally just met Michael.
Real good guy.
He's a good guy, and I haven't had nothing but good things with him.
No, he's a good guy.
I don't even know honestly how I met him. I don't even remember how I met him. I was going to do a class on CTR, and then I met him. Someone introduced me or something, and then it just took off from there. So
he was going to be a priest.
Yeah, and then I told him we actually had a talk the other day. I said, I was actually raised Mormon, then I converted at one point to Roman Catholicism. And I said, so when I started seeing the stuff that you had, I was like, that's just Shrouded Turan at his house and all this other stuff. But yeah, listen, it's been great talking to you. I want to let you go. Yeah, I know you got to get to bed and stuff. I appreciate you staying up late with me.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I'd love to do it again. You're a really good guy. You're easy to talk to, and you're super, super smart. And whenever you're ready, shoot me an email. I'd love to speak.
Will do, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Have a good one, brother.
All right. You as well, Will.